Hey, welcome everybody. So happy to be with you once again on this live stream, streaming live from Dow Central Portland, and we're going live on both Facebook and on YouTube at the same time. So happy that you're able to join us now. So this is actually the 8th in the series of working with Master Sha's newest book called Dow Calligraphy, Dao Bei. And for those of you that are just watching for the first time, I encourage you to go back and watch at least the first 3 episodes. That will set the foundation for where we're at now, and all of them if you can, because they're all powerful. And each time I spend roughly 45 minutes reading the book, about maybe 15-20 minutes, and then we go and we actually apply the practices that have been spoken about in the book as a whole. So when we get to the areas of the book where there's actual practices, then I'll actually do those. But until then, I give you some of the wisdom, share with you the application of it in our normal daily lives, and then we do some practices. So I'm so grateful to be with you here, and I encourage you to say hi. Let me know you're here. I'd love to acknowledge you, and then also hit the share button. Let other people know about this. As I say every time, and I will continue to repeat, this wisdom, the healing techniques, the Tao healing techniques, the most pure, positive frequency and vibration. Everybody needs to know about it. There is nobody out here that doesn't need to know about this form of healing. Because if you know how you can transform whatever negativity in your world is creating the unpleasantness in certain aspects of your life, we all have unpleasantness in certain aspects of our life. Might be little, might be a lot. But if you have 0, congratulations, you should be in this chair teaching. I have a lot, and I have applied the wisdom and techniques I'll be sharing with you today to help you further release that negative information, those messages that somehow end up on our vibrational field. So I'll do a quick overview of what we've covered so far, and then go straight into some of the teachings. And I encourage all of those that are watching now, please say hi, Paul. Click on the comment button, say hi. I want to acknowledge you. I want to see who's coming, see who's visiting. And for those of you that don't know me, my name is Paul Fletcher. I am one of the center leaders at Dow Center Portland. And the wisdom that I'm sharing is from this individual. His name is Dr. and Master Jigong Shah. His image is right there. There you go. That's a beautiful, happy soul. And he's been sharing this wisdom for at least 25 years, traveling around the world, waking up people to how they can heal themselves. In fact, in every one of his books, he has a simple statement. I have the power to heal myself. You have the power to heal yourself. Together, we have the power to heal the world. So with that as a foundation, let's go ahead and share a little bit. So he has been bringing this wisdom to humanity for many, many years. And what he has been able to do, you'll notice the name of this book is called Dow Calligraphy, to heal and rejuvenate your back. Kind of hard to read that small print, but that's what it says. And then this is actually an image. What this is what's referred to as a Dow calligraphy. And in the last chapter, chapter 7, there was the beginning of a description of how this frequency and vibration that is the source, most pure frequency and vibration, how it's transmitted into a piece of art. And then how you, the recipient, you, the reader, how you can interact with that piece of art through a variety of methods and receive the nourishment from it. And so we'll be using the word nourishment a little later today when we do practices. I have a very special calligraphy that's just for nourishing you. So I look forward to that. So let's pop on in. I'll share some of the screens. Welcome, Anthea. So great to see you here. Thank you, everybody else, for coming. Please hit the share button, and let's go ahead and share a screen now. Let's see what we got here. Hopefully it's working well. Good. So each of you should be able to see this screen. And this is about where we left off. So if I go back 1 or 2 pages here, see where we're at. Good. Okay, we're just going to go back a lot because this left off in, let me go ahead and do this while I'm not looking at you. We'll stop the sharing. Yeah, I had all this set up, but apparently I closed that one down and this is another form. So give me a minute to click back to where I was at, and then we'll move forward. We were in chapter 4, by the way, and it was about the field. There we go. Now I can share. So this is chapter 4. It's entitled Field, and we touched on it a little bit. So as a reminder, everything has a field. You've heard of many of these: electromagnetic, gravitational, temperature fields, velocity fields, quantum fields, magnetic fields, and electrical fields. And a human being has a field, and a plant has a field. And according to quantum physics, everyone and everything is fundamentally a vibrational field. In other words, we all radiate a frequency and vibration. And guess what? So does the original source creator. And the original source creator's field is the most positive, the most pure field. Therefore, when we're able to interact with it, when we're able to connect with that most pure positive field, our frequency and vibration can change. So let's take a look at what this is saying here on the screen. So a good vibrational field is one carrying positive information, energy, and matter. Positive information, energy, and matter bring connection, order, and harmony. Negative information, energy, and matter bring disconnection, disorder, and disharmony. To transform negative information, energy, and matter in your vibrational field to positive information, energy, and matter is to heal sickness. It is to overcome adversity and to turn lack into abundance at the root level. Now, the reason I kind of went over those 3 paragraphs quickly is because we've read them before. Tao is a word you'll hear often in the books, in all of Master Sha's wisdom teachings and healing. It's referred to as Tao healing. Tao is another word that means source. So in case you are trying to apply this to what you know about the word Tao or Taoism, please, I invite you to open your heart and your mind. Our teacher does not teach any of those belief systems. He simply wants to offer you a form of positive information that can transform the negative information. The word Tao is only a placeholder for the word source, because in his culture, that's what it meant. And so we use that: source healing, source writing, source art, okay? And that's what it means. So Tao is the ultimate creator and source. The vibrational field of Tao's source contains unlimited positive information, energy, and matter. So Tao's source, the creator, right, can create anything. It can provide for support and nourishment in everyone and everything to connect with the source vibrational field. And this, of course, is the highest and most powerful way to heal. Let me, where did I lost my space there a minute? It's the most powerful way to heal and to transform and empower ourselves. So this book shares with humanity that the Dow Calligraphy field, which is what this book about, is a source healing field, and that the Dow Calligraphy field exists, and that the Dow field is here to serve you now. In chapter 1, reminder, we're on chapter 4 now. In chapter 1, the universal law of Shen Qi Jing was clearly explained. In summary, everyone and everything, countless stars, planets, galaxies, and universes, are made of their own Shen Qi Jing. Now, if that's new information for you, you're like, what does that mean? The simple version, we all have the source creator in us, or soul. We have the source heart, the heart consciousness of creator in us. We have mind consciousness, energy, and matter. Soul, heart, mind, energy, and matter. It's covered very well in the first 3 chapters. Go back and watch the previous recordings. And this statement is one of the most important ones, because what he's sharing is that physics and the ancient wisdoms are in complete agreement that everyone and everything is made of the same stuff. The Tao science approach says everything is made of positive energy and matter. And the ancient wisdom says the same thing in its own way, saying that everything is made up of soul, heart, mind, energy, and matter that can be either positive or negative. There we go. On to the next phase. So now there's what's called a positive field. Any field brings good health, harmony, relationships, flourishing of your finances, progress on the spiritual journey, or love and peace and harmony to humanity, Mother Earth, and countless planets, stars, galaxies, and universes. These all are aspects of a positive field. Negative fields, any field that causes unhealthy conditions for humanity, unharmonious relationship, blockages in finances, challenges on the spiritual journey, or they can reduce love, peace, and harmony for humanity, Mother Earth, and the countless planets, stars, galaxies, and universes. The universal law of Shen Qijing tells us that positive Shen Qijing could transform the negative Shen Qijing. In other words, a positive field could transform a negative field in health, relationship, finances, the spiritual journey, and every aspect of life. So how then do we transform a negative field to a positive field? That's an obvious question, right? Well, there are many ways to transform a negative field to a positive one. In medicine, what do doctors do? Doctors, nurses, hospitals, and more, they help people to heal. They are transforming the negative information on their field to a positive one with their modality. People eat food and drink water. People realize that eating proper food and drinking healthy water are vital to life. When we do this, we are strengthening our positive field. So there are different ways that we can transform the negativity on our field to positive, and these are other examples. So this is not new information. We're just trying to get you to understand that the Dao source field through the Dao source calligraphies is, at least according to our report card and how often we've been doing this form of healing and transformation, has a much higher level of effectiveness with a much lesser time frame. So this is what we're trying to share with you, is the correlation here. So unhealthy foods, unhealthy or polluted water carry negative fields that obviously do not impact us in a positive way. All kinds of education in every aspect of life are to teach about positive fields to empower the student to transform the negative fields. For example, positive education in science and technology tries to discover, develop, and apply these fields to help a human to be happier, live longer and healthier, happier lives. I honor all healing modalities, Master Sha says, and all methods, all positive scientific and technological advances, and all the positive ways humanity has created and applied to transform negative information, energy, and matter to positive information, energy, and matter in every aspect of a human being's life. I cannot emphasize enough, Master Sha says, that the purpose of this book is to introduce the Dao. Dao means what? Source. The Dao calligraphy field. This field is created by the transformative art of Dao calligraphy, which carries a most positive soul over matter information system to help humanity transform every aspect of life. Dao calligraphy, which is source oneness transformative art, is a portal to connect with the Dao source, to bring a source field to humanity and Mother Earth, and to make it visible and tangible. This is three very important statements I'm going to repeat. Dao calligraphy, which is a source oneness transformative art, has three purposes. It acts as a portal, as a middleman, as a medium, a portal to connect with Dao source, a way to instantly connect to the highest, most pure source. B, to bring the source field to Mother Earth, to humanity. And C, to make that source field in a visible, tangible way to validate the healing and transformation and enlightenment in every aspect of life. You know, my teacher says, if you want to know if a pear is sweet, then you need to taste it. If you want to know if Dao calligraphy works, if it really is a portal through which the source most pure positive frequency and vibration can affect you, then you need to experience it and practice with it. The next paragraph, I will explain Dao calligraphy, and the power and significance of Dao calligraphy further in the next few chapters. And then he pops into what is the Dao. So let's pause here a moment. And I'm going to check in with everybody. Welcome, Risto. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for clicking the share button. So what have we learned so far in these first 4 chapters? We've learned that we all are here and we're all walking around with both positive and negative messages and information on our vibrational field. Now, depending on how you look at it, Tao Science says we are all walking, talking versions of frequencies and vibrations. That's a little bit too medical for me. That's a little bit too scientific. I get and I understand that everything vibrates, and I'm a big believer of that. But I kind of like the idea myself that I have a soul and that my soul carries on it with it every negative, every positive thought, word, and action I've ever offered anyone and myself in all time. And that for me resonates more. But this book is designed to help everybody that is on both sides of the fence. Some believe in the soul, some only believe in science. Great. This acknowledges that both exist and they both exist in harmony. And that when things are inharmonious, in disorder, and out of alignment, that is because of the frequency and vibration that is predominant in somebody's field. And if things are harmonious, connected, congruent, that's because there's a predominant positive information in that person's vibrational field. So it's very simple, the way it's brought up to this point. What this book and its intention is to do is to help awaken those to how can that most pure positive source frequency and vibration be transmitted to you and me so that we can bathe in it and help shovel out that negative stuff as quickly as possible. I mean, raise your hand if you're okay with what, if I gave you a power hose and you could just spray it all over yourself and wash off all that negative stuff that brings the misfortune and the negative relationships, would you be okay with that, right? Everybody would, of course. So this is the nature of the wisdom and the power of the techniques and the art, the healing art that is in this book. All right, let's pop back in here. So what then is the Tao? The concept of Tao was presented by Lao Tzu, the ancient sage and author of Dao De Jing. In the Dao De Jing, he explains Tao as the ultimate source and creator, describes the Tao normal creation. Now I'm going to pause there just a moment. And I want to say that the Dao De Jing, for those of you that are not familiar with that, because it might be new to you, it is a book written by someone who is considered to be a sage, a philosopher, and some refer to him as a saint. Now, this is from the Eastern culture and Eastern traditions, and the Dao De Jing, when it was written, was not intended to be a belief system. No different when our beloved Jesus, when he left his information behind, it was not intended to be a religion. It was intended to serve people with heart-based wisdom. And then it became a religion. Some people have used it well, some people not so much. Same thing with any belief system for the most part out there. But when this person, Lao Tzu, wrote the Dao De Jing at 81 chapters, and his intention was simply to provide sage wisdom so that you can bring a different approach to every aspect of life to make yourself happier and healthier. Very simple. And it resonated obviously with a lot of people because aside from the Bible, it is the most purchased book on the planet. And it has been translated in the most languages, second only to the Bible. So that gives you an idea of where this wisdom is coming from. Now let's pop back in here. So the Dao De Jing speaks of the nature of the universe, the nature of creation. And it's referred to as Tao normal creation. And figure 2 explains this, so we'll pop over to figure 2 in a minute. And in the first 4 sentences of chapter 42 of the 81 chapters, it says, Dao Sheng Yi. Tao creates one is what that translates to. What does that mean, Tao? Tao is source. Source creates one. Lao Tzu explains that Tao is the ultimate source. Tao creates one, which is the oneness world called the Wu world. Wu is a Mandarin Chinese word that means emptiness. So Tao creates one, which is the emptiness world, The Wu world cannot be seen, it cannot be heard, it cannot be touched. It's empty. There is no yin, there is no yang, there is no up, there is no down, there is no hot, there is no cold, there is no space, there is no time, there is no image or shape in this original one space of emptiness. The next paragraph, the oneness world is called the Hunyuan Yi Qi, Hunyuan Yi Qi, which means blurred. It's a blurred condition. It's not defined. Yi means oneness. Qi means energy. There are two kinds of energy that are combined within this blurred qi, this blurred energy that makes up the original oneness from which all things come, according to this ancient wisdom. They are mixed and not separable because Hunyuan Yi Qi is blurred oneness energy. These two kinds of energy are named Qing Qi and Zhuo Qi. Qing Qi is clean, pure, light Qi. Again, Qi means energy. Zhuo Qi is disturbed, turbid, heavy Qi. These remain combined, mixed together in the Hunyuan Yi Qi condition for eons. Eons. Eons is a long time, guys. Eons way longer than you and I have been around. And welcome everybody else. Please say hi. Hi, Bettina. Anybody else? Let me know you're here. I'm happy to acknowledge you. So happy. Thank you for coming. Please hit the share button. Let other people know about today's sharing. So the next two lines of this ancient wisdom. Yi Sheng Er, one creates two. When the time comes, after eons and eons and eons of this clean and dirty qi mixed, when the time comes for qi transformation, the Tao, the source, separates these two qi in Hunyuan Yi Qi. The oneness world or blurred emptiness world becomes separated. Qing Qi, which is the light, clean qi, rises to form what we refer to as heaven. Zhuo Qi is the heavy, turbid qi, and it falls to form Mother Earth. So heaven and earth represent the number 2. Notice the image on the right-hand side. So you see at the top is Tao, which means source. And source is the oneness. That's where you see number 1. So 1 represents everything before it becomes into the physical manifestation period. This is called the Hundun. And within that Hundun is the blurred qi, which is the combined clean and dirty intermixed. And it stays there for eons. And when it decides to split, which is up to heaven, up to the source, then it splits and forms 2, which is referred to as heaven and earth. So this is Master Sha reading from chapter 42 of the Tao Te Ching. So this Hunyuan Yi Qi, the oneness world, plus heaven and earth. So we have 1 plus 2. What is 2? Let's go back. 2 is heaven and Mother Earth. 1 plus 2 equals, you got it, 3. So we go to the next phrase. San Sheng Wan Wu. 3 creates all things. So this ancient wisdom was written many thousands of years ago. Wan Wu is a Mandarin Chinese word that roughly translates to 10,000. 10,000 represents a larger imagination. 10,000 is a way of saying everything, infinite, countless. Wu means things. Wan Wu means all things. So San Sheng Wan Wu means 3 creates all things. That includes heaven, countless stars, countless planets, countless universes, all things. Okay, so backwards one more time. We look at the image. This whole cycle that was just explained is called Tao Normal Creation. This Tao Normal Creation, the source is oneness. It's this blurred qi, this blurred, clean, and dirty qi. It's called the Hundun Yi Qi, and it sits there for eons, and at some point, the source says, okay, clean qi rise, dirty qi falls. When that happens, heaven and earth are formed. 1 plus 2 equals Wan Wu, which then creates all things. This is the ancient wisdom. Let's move on to Dao Reverse Creation. I received the teaching, says Master Sha, of Dao Reverse Creation from the source. Dao source. So in other words, this part is not in the Dao De Jing book. The first part is, the second part is not. The source and Master Sha's connected very closely, always doing things. He's a channel for the source, bringing in the source healing frequency and vibration. So he says, I received the teachings of the Dao Reverse Creation from Dao Source. Dao Source asked me to explain Dao Reverse Creation to humanity and all souls. As the Dao Normal Creation, Dao Reverse Creation is also described in 4 sacred sentences. The first one, Wan Wu Gui San, which translates to all things return to 3. Gui means to go back. Next line is San Gui R, 3 returns to 2. The next line is R Gui E, 2 returns to 1. And then you see this image. So, and the last line is Yi Gui Dao, which translates to 1 returns to Dao. Together, Dao Normal Creation and Dao Reverse Creation are a universal law of universal reincarnation that explains how Dao creates 1, 2, 3, and then all things, including countless planets, stars, galaxies, universes, and then how Wan Wu, which is all things, go through the process of return from 3 back to 2, back to 1, and then and 1 is Dao, constantly and endlessly. So this is a pretty powerful wisdom here. And to be perfectly frank, I'm going to stop the sharing. I honestly was quite shocked that this wisdom was released to the general public with such ease and such simplicity, because this wisdom is very, very, very high level wisdom, not necessarily shared by any of the great teachers and the great masters for long times. And yet we live in a very unique time. So as we learn this wisdom and these techniques, we can start to understand that everything has a point in time when it needs to be released. Everything has a purpose, a value, and a significance. And if this has been approved to be released to humanity, then we are very, very blessed to receive this wisdom. So then, what then is the purpose of the releasing of this information? It is so we can transform our lives from whatever may be, whatever we might be experiencing, manifesting, into something more and more and more positive. This is a form of reverse creation. Master Sha said in there that from 1 is formed 2, heaven and earth. From 2 is formed 3. 3 is Tao, the creator, and heaven and Mother Earth. And those 3 collectively include, and now remember, it's not just heaven and Mother Earth, it's all the stars, planets, galaxies, universes, all that is formed by 1, 2, 3. That encompasses Wan Wu, everything. And then there's a process back. Have you ever heard of reincarnation? Have you ever heard of returning to the source and not coming back again? There's a lot of us that would like to stop this cycle. So there is a process by which we can stop this cycle. And this is why this form of healing has been brought to us, so that we can stop the endless cycle. What causes the endless cycle? The negativity in our vibrational field, the negative messages. Every time we harm somebody, every time we yell at somebody, create depression for them. Maybe we cheat them and we create a negative imbalance in our field. Maybe you're good, but your ancestors didn't do so wonderful. And so this remains in our vibrational field until it's not. And this is what is taught in the first 4 chapters. How can we then transform that? We need to acknowledge it first. Then we can recognize that we're all on this path of, in the creation cycle, we're all in the path of reverse creation, moving back towards the oneness. And when I offer this wisdom on behalf of Master Sha, you then have a deeper understanding and you can apply it. When I lead you through the practice in a few minutes for the Dow Calligraphy, you can then understand it and apply it. This then helps you, uplifts you, releases negative messages, information, and on your vibrational field, which in turn uplifts everybody around us, uplifts me, because we're all one. We all came from the same source. So this is not an individual thing. This is, let's wake up as many people as possible. Let's share this healing modality, uplift everybody's frequency and vibration, and we all win. This is what it's about. Okay, so let's do a practice. Let's apply this wisdom. And then when we come back Thursday, we'll go into the next part of this chapter. Let me make sure that my image is pulled up here for sharing. See if it's in here. Yay, there it is. Okay. So this is the Dow Calligraphy, Dao, duh. Dao is source, duh is nourishment. So collectively, this means source nourishes us. The source is nourishing us all the time. But our ability to receive that nourishment is dependent upon many, many factors, including the negativity in our vibrational field. So when we connect, which we have been doing each week and will continue to do, when we connect to this portal, as was described earlier in this chapter, when we connect to this field, that when this art is made, Master Sha connects to the most pure high source field and acts as a conduit through which that pure source frequency and vibration then comes into this art. Now, when we interact with it, meaning when we trace it, then that most pure positive frequency and vibration comes to us and starts washing us. It's like a fire hose washing away the mud on our vehicle. It's like an eraser washing away the negative words we wrote or spoke. So think of it as a beautiful way to wash away the mistakes, the things we wish we wouldn't have thought, said, or done, or that we wished our ancestors wouldn't have thought, said, or done. How then do we connect? Very simply, we apply the 6-power technique. The first one, body power. You hold your hands. I'm going to change the image here a minute. There we go. We hold our hands like this, okay, touching all 5 fingers together. Most of you know that. Some of you might be new watching this. That's the posture. Why? Each finger represents what's called the element. In traditional Chinese medicine, there's wood, fire, earth, metal, water. And by touching those, we're bringing balance to our major organs and systems. So by doing this, we're getting multiple benefits. That's the body power. Sound power is Dao De, heals and nourishes me. And I'll use my singing power, my voice, which is one of the powers, right? Sound power. That's the 3rd power. So we'll chant a mantra such as Tao source nourishes me to help increase the frequency and vibration. What we're doing is we're stacking the 6 powers is the stacking of individual ways to increase the frequency and the healing attributes available to us. Body power increases the frequency. Creative visualization is the 4th power. Seeing light come to your area of request, which I'll lead you through in a few minutes. Sound power is the mantra. Soul power, that is the most important one. Soul power is connecting. Here's an example. If comfortable, please repeat after me. Dear the soul of the most pure positive frequency and vibration within this source calligraphy, Dao De. I deeply honor and appreciate you. As I interact with you, trace you, could you please offer me a blessing for, now choose one aspect of your life that you want to receive healing for. Do it now. You don't have to write it down. You tell the source. Source knows everything. Tell the source what you want now. And then you say, thank you. Always offer love. Thank you. Fifth power is the calligraphy power. It's right in front of us. The sixth power is the breathing power. In this case, we're going to breathe very naturally, okay? We're going to see the light coming into your area of request. If your area of request is not obvious, such as a sore neck, right? If it's finances or relationship, then just see light coming into your heart. I'm going to make myself smaller now so we can enjoy this source calligraphy, and let us trace it together. Tao De heals and nourishes. Now you don't have to sing if you don't want to. I'll do all the work for you, but you're welcome to. Tao De heals and nourishes. 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 Now you can say, Tao De heals my request. 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 Tao De, 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 Tao De. Tao De source nourishment. 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 Tao the source nourishment, 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 Tao the source nourishment. Source calligraphy heals my request. 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 2 more minutes. I want you to see the source nourishment coming to your area of request. In my spiritual channels, I can tell you that huge light has come to each of you. For some of you, it's helped to clear some negative messages you're holding in your heart center. There's someone who is receiving blessings for their liver. It may be an addiction issue. It may be anger. Not quite sure, but they're receiving blessings in their liver. There's another person that's receiving blessings in the face area, like in the front of the face. So it looks like the lips, mouth, teeth, and gums area, possibly the sinuses. So the light is going to your area of request. There's several people who have requested things for like emotions or relationship. And that is being requested as well. With those kinds of requests, what's happening is new messages are being put in place of the other ones that are more towards self-righteousness, inability to forgive, heart opening. Things get blocked, and so this light is like loosening the rust, loosening the rust is a good way to put it. Sometimes we just get so stuck in our approach or our opinion or our perspective that we're unable to see alternative ways of resolving something. So as we come to the end of this Source Healing Field Calligraphy Dao Da, I invite you to offer your gratitude from your heart, whatever way is comfortable to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to stop sharing now. So what we have experienced today is a little bit more of the next chapter, the field, and we learned more about creation and reverse creation. We'll come back in and get the second half of that wisdom and chapter next. But truly, truly powerful what Dr. and Master Zhigang Sha is sharing with humanity. This kind of wisdom and information and teachings, at least in my humble opinion, will be viewed by people hundreds of years from now. They probably, if you think about like my age when I grew up, we had 8-track tapes. Okay, that goes back like 50 years. And then they had cassettes, and then they had CDs and VHS, and then they went to DVDs, and then they went to Blu-rays, and then everything is digital, and so forth. So what they're going to look at 100 years from now, no idea. But I've got a pretty good belief that this wisdom will be very coveted and applied a long time in the future. So I encourage you to go out and get this book if you don't already have it. Again, Dow Calligraphy to Heal and Rejuvenate Your Back. It is not just for the back. The wisdom applies to any aspect of your life. And the source calligraphies within here will also serve any aspect of your life, not just your back. So thank you all for coming. Please, one more time, if you haven't done so, hit the share button. Let other people discover this, even though it'll be a recording. It'll be something that they'll get great value from. And I will see you here Thursday, unless something happens where I won't see you here Thursday. I invite you to return Wednesdays and Fridays for Lori. Lori and I work together at Dow Central Portland. She's an amazing teacher, and she'll be leading practices for the Dow Bay field. Okay, so join her and do practices. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.